All right, so I feel like I've heard those exact words before. It's not just the colors. It's every blade of grass. I feel like I've heard you say that before.
I absolutely have, because there are people who actually remember winning in those colors, right? When you walk into the facility on the south side, when you get to the top of the stairs, there's a trophy case with 6 Lombardis. And everybody thinks that they're entitled to be a piece of that, but you aren't. And that's exactly what Minkah Fitzpatrick is talking about. You're looking at a guy that played safety for Alabama and Nick Saban. He understands winning. And when he gets into the organization in Pittsburgh, he understands how to go about his work every day. He's looking at people that don't know how to go about their work. He's looking at people in the locker rooms with him that don't understand accountability. And when you start a game against the New England Patriots, a team that couldn't score points the last 3 weeks but has only given up 10, you realize if you give up 21 to them, that you aren't prepared. And so when you aren't prepared, and this is going to be something you've never heard me say, when you aren't prepared, it has to start at the head coach. Is he my favorite head coach in football? Absolutely. Do I believe he goes about his work the same way every day, every week? Absolutely. And what I'm saying is that has to change. He has to also understand that the people in his locker room don't understand effort. The people in his locker room don't understand execution. So the same messaging that would get across to the Troy Palomalus, the same messagings that would get across to the Ben Roethlisbergers are not connecting with these young men in the locker room. So Mike Tomlin has to change. What they do offensively has to change. And the effort and the sort of accountability and pressure put on those people in that locker room has to be different, or nothing will change when it comes to the outcome of games.
The thing to me that has to change on offense, RC specifically, is George Pickens and Pat Freiermuth. Those are 2 really good players that can be difference makers. Last night, they had a total of 37 yards and 13 targets. They're not going to get to where they want to go unless those 2 players are more involved in the offense.
So when your quarterback can't go through his progressions and read defenses, then he can't get the ball to him because they understand and he can't push the ball down the field. So this isn't a Steelers offense problem, because we saw them have an explosion the following week after they fired the coordinator. Right. So this isn't, to me, about that. It's about, once again, the backup quarterback in the NFL is starting to become one of the most premier positions because you have to depend on them.
You know, Danny, you made an interesting point in our meeting this morning. The last 5 days, the Steelers have, to some degree, looked like what we thought they were, and yet their record didn't seem to show it.
A week ago, they're 7-4, right? I mean, so like there was reason for people in that locker room to think that we put this uniform on, we're going to win. Like they were winning. We didn't know how, right? It didn't make any sense, but they were winning these games, and now they've had a disqualifyingly bad 5-day stretch. I mean, when you lose consecutive home games to a pair of 2-10 teams, 2 of the worst teams in the league, a team in New England that can't score, that had scored, 13 total points in its last 3 games, comes in and hangs 21 on you in the first half, there's something wrong. And I think it's probably good for the Steelers in the big picture that this is happening, because you don't want to sit there and make the playoffs with a substandard team and fool yourselves into thinking you're something you're not. They do have to change some things. They have to examine, obviously this game has nothing to do with Kenny Pickett, but that's the big question for them going forward. Is the offense good enough? Who are they going to bring in to run the offense, right? Are the guys that replaced Matt Canada in season candidates? Are they going to show you enough to get the job? So I think there are big, significant franchise decisions that have to be made in Pittsburgh this offseason, and it stinks for the fans, but it's probably better for the team to go through a stretch like this.
You know why
You know
why this is good? Because this is like a silent movie, right? In a silent movie, if you watch the Pittsburgh Steelers games without the sound, if you watch the Pittsburgh Steelers game without the scoreboards, they look like the Arizona Cardinals. If you watch the Pittsburgh Steelers and you don't know what the outcome is, they look like the New England Patriots. The only difference was they were finding ways to win because you had Hall of Famers like T.J. Watt. And if you kept him close, he was going to make a play. And here is my suggestion. You hear Mike Tannenbaum say, well, Pat Freiermuth and George Pickens. You know what I would do? It's time for somebody to make a statement in that locker room. If you act like Deontay Johnson, ain't no way in hell you getting the shot on 4th and 2. If you act like Deontay Johnson, ain't no way in hell you're getting an opportunity to score a touchdown. If we ain't going to be good anyway, at least be who we are supposed to be. A team that's going to be held accountable. A team that's going to show up every day, every play, and give everything they got, whether they're good enough or not. And for sure as hell, we ain't going to reward the people that don't. And so if you're looking at this locker room, if you're Minkah Fitzpatrick, that's the frustration. The frustration is people who aren't putting their hand in the pile every single play are being rewarded for just wearing the colors. And that starts with Mike Tomlin.
The Josh Allen slander, RC, is getting to be a lot. I'm getting tired of it.
I don't necessarily believe it's Josh Allen slander, because I think when you ask everyone's opinion of Josh Allen, they talk about how talented of a quarterback he is.
But
they talk about how dynamic he can be.
They always include the word "but" at the end of it.
You know what? They don't include the word "but." They include things that are called facts. Because the facts are, in the last 8 games, he's turned the football over. The facts are, the Denver Broncos are in the game because you turn it over 3 times. The facts are, you lose to the New York Jets week 1 because he turns it over 4 times. Those are the facts. Now, you can talk about all of the other things as well. You can talk about how dynamic he was getting outside of the pocket, using his legs against the Philadelphia Eagles. You can talk about the fact that he was able to push the football down the field and also operate with patience when he had to. And when you do that, you're also going to have to say that the Philadelphia Eagles were able to get points because Josh Allen threw the football to James Bradbury. That is the Josh Allen story. That is the Josh Allen arc. It doesn't make him someone that's not a good quarterback, but it does make him someone that is turnover prone.
Yeah, you would still take him over almost anyone in the league. But it comes with turnovers. It just does. That's not slander. It's the truth. I mean, there it is.
He can't handle the truth.
8 straight games an interception. Like, that's it.
Yeah, I see.
He like Santiago.
Look, I see it totally differently. Like, this is a guy that's second in the league in rushing touchdowns, second in the league in passing touchdowns. And the people that are complaining about his interceptions are the people that are complaining about paying taxes after you win the lottery. It's the cost of doing business. These are great problems to have. And besides Kansas City, I don't think there's any team in the league that would say, I'd rather have my quarterback than Josh Allen.
We don't disagree. Like you said, I totally disagree. We're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just a fact of life.
All right, so I think there's one thing we can all agree on. We blame Fink for the negativity of it. Now, Bart, let me come to you. Let me reverse the question, because I've done a lot on Josh Allen this week, and I'll come back to him a little bit later. But in the AFC, I'm old enough to remember when the AFC was going to be the greatest conference of all time, and they have been dropping like flies. So as of this moment, does the road to the Super Bowl still go through Kansas City? I don't mean literally, but figuratively. Does the road still go through Kansas City?
No, I think it goes through Miami or either Baltimore. One of those teams, I think they're more complete, more sound. Well, you know, when you go and you get into the playoffs, RC understands you need to pack your run game and your defense. And both of those teams have both. You know, you talk about Kansas City, you know, they offensively, they leave a lot to be desired, right? If they get in shootouts, if you get ahead of them, can Mahomes or will Mahomes trust those receivers to be able to make the play? Or will he depend heavily on Kelsey and teams use that against him? You think about Josh Allen, he reminds me of Brett Favre, right? You take the good with the bad. Now, it's about the timing of the bad. And Josh Allen has had the bad timing of the bad, which causes his team, you know, opportunities. You don't get those great plays. It's too much inconsistency. It's either extreme highs or extreme lows.
You agree with this? The road, is Kansas City still the team to beat?
No, Michael Jordan's playing baseball.
This is the year that
This is the year Elijah Wan and them going to win. This is those years. You know, because it's been so difficult to win in the AFC because of Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. And it felt like the Chicago Bulls that no matter who you were, we would just pick the Chiefs. We was like, yeah, it could be close, but they got Patrick Mahomes. That's different this year because of the people that are supporting Patrick Mahomes, because they've had the inability to step up. And I think now we're trying to figure out if he is going to press to make some of these plays without some of that help from Matt Nagy, the play caller.
I want to see who on this set. I haven't seen the picks yet. Let's put them up, Cindy. Okay, so we're split right down the middle. Coming over to you, Graziano. You like Buffalo in this game?
I do. I think they need it more, right? I mean, where they are in the standings, the Chiefs. Yeah, they do. I mean, the Chiefs are. Who's catching the Chiefs in the AFC West?
They need home field advantage.
They do need home field advantage, but I mean, I think Buffalo knows how to go in there and win. I saw them do it last year in the regular season. And their offense is just better. I mean, it's been better consistently throughout the year than Kansas City's. So Kansas City's defense has been excellent this year, but I think Buffalo, coming off a bye, I just think they're set up for this game in a way that...
on the call, initially, I picked the Bills. And then I was like, God dang it, Patrick Mahomes. And I'm going to be honest. It's that feeling of understanding these two quarterbacks and the arc and the story of the quarterbacks and the importance of this game. I believe Patrick Mahomes finds a way.